Welcome to Walking with God in the Garden. I'm Dick Hulse. I have begun this program over YouTube with the idea of reaching you, sharing a few thoughts about gardening, as well as your relationship with God. I'm finding more and more the need to encourage people to spend time with God. There are many forces out there in the world that distract us, many things that can wear us down, make us feel that life isn't worth living. It's a tragedy when people as young as 14, and the greatest number of suicides is between 14 and 24, but young people who have nothing to live for, who feel that life isn't worth living, so they end it. But then there are many adults as well who feel that things are pressuring them, and they just don't have the strength to face the issues of the day. So they enter into a world of escape. Maybe it's a TV program. Maybe it's pornography. It could be alcohol or drugs. Whatever it is. And I'm not suggesting today that any of you who are watching this program are involved with any of that. But I do know that we oftentimes are confronted with issues of life that seem to be overwhelming. And this is especially true for people that are religious. When you put God into your life, you have put an equation there that needs some explanation. Because the assumption is that when we believe in God, things ought to go well. I've heard it said the family that prays together stays together. And yet, I've known many people who have been in church on a regular basis, who pay their tithes, who read the Bible, who end up in the divorce court. I've also had it that so many people have wanted the very best for their children, paid great prices for special education, only to find sometimes that their children become delinquent. I don't know how it is in your life, but I know that my life has not been perfect. I've struggled some very difficult times, but I really shouldn't, and I'll tell you why. After all, I am a preacher. I'm a minister. And isn't it true that all ministers should be favored? Let me tell you, there is no guarantee. I don't care who you are, what your last name is, what your first name is, what your age is, how much money you have. There's no guarantee that your life is going to be free of distress or issues. We have the story in the Bible of a man who believed in God with all his heart. He lived in a very wicked and tumultuous time in the history of Israel. It was during the time of the judges. And from time to time, judges would arise and preach to the people about getting right with God. And they would take time to kind of realign their lives. And then God would bless them. But then they fell away. And in their delinquency, the nations around Israel would crush them. And this is true of this particular story today. This group of people was the Midianites. They became Israel's arch enemies. And they would oppress the Israelites by stealing their crops and their flocks and suppress the people. The only way the people could survive was to do things with the lack of knowledge on the part of the Midianites, because if the Midianites heard about their employment, they would come and crush them. Well, we have the story today of Gideon. He's a famous judge of Israel. I want to read a little bit from the Bible about Gideon, and it's in the book of Judges. And I'm reading today from the 6th chapter of Judges, and I want to read beginning with the 14th verse. The angel of the Lord came and sat down under the oak at Ophrah that belonged to Joash, where his son Gideon was threshing wheat in a winepress to keep it from the Midianites. So basically, Gideon is hiding from the Midianites, threshing wheat so the people would have something to eat. And then it says, the angel said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." How many times have we heard that? God is with you. He won't desert you. He's faithful, even though your world is falling apart. Oh, yes, it's so easy to say these words. The Lord is with you. Well, here the angel is saying to Gideon, the Lord is with you, Gideon. What are you doing hiding here from the Midianites? But Gideon knew better, because if he was out there in the public view, there was no chance that he was going to escape the sight of the Midianites. But then here's what Gideon said, and I share it with you. Where are all his wonders that our fathers have told us about? If the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? Friends, you ever wonder about that? Sickness in your family, death, financial disaster. If the Lord is with us, why has all of this befallen us? Isn't there some wonderful tradition that says that God's going to be close to us? He's going to keep us. He will never leave us or forsake us. There will always be His care, His love, His support, His strength. I cannot begin to tell you how many times I've preached that story. Trying to encourage people, I still do it. When people ask me, why is this happening to me? Why can't I get a better job? Why is my family falling apart? Why is there cancer in the one whom I really love, or in my own life? Have you ever asked those questions? If you haven't, maybe you should. Because the question is, if the Lord is for us, why then does all of this befall us? Now, there is an easy answer to that question, and I want to give it to you because it's oftentimes given to us. The world is not perfect. God is no respecter of people. It rains on the just and the unjust. Doesn't the sun shine on the good and the bad? And after all, my neighbor who never goes to church, never reads the Bible, and this is not true for me, but we oftentimes hear it said, and he goes to the casino and he wins $1 million jackpot. It's not fair. If God is for me, why then all this adversity? I just want to share, in conclusion here today on this YouTube program, that what the angel said to Gideon is what is said to us. Hail, one favored by God. The Lord is with you. I can't orchestrate the events of your life. I can't make sure that you're going to make enough money to pay all your bills. Or that if you come down with cancer, that you're going to walk out of that hospital miraculously healed. I cannot guarantee that. The only thing that I can guarantee for you today would be the words of the angel. Hail, the Lord is with you. The Bible tells us that God's people are His treasure. His treasure. He loves us. He cares for us. He Himself in His person will never leave us or forsake us, but will always, under all and every circumstance, be with us by His Spirit. It's very difficult to measure the Spirit. The Spirit blows where He wills. We don't understand how that all works out. But as far as the world is concerned, it is not perfect. And it befalls all of us in terms of its hazards. But God is with us now and evermore. God bless you. Thank you for calling in today. I hope and pray that you find some strength in these messages that I give you from week to week. Have a wonderful week, by the way, and enjoy the blessings that God does give you.